recording.
Okay.
So I'm in OSS right now using OSS to record it. OBS, sorry, not OSS.
OBS. I was gonna say, what is OSS? Never heard.
OSS is online subsystem instead of Unreal
Ah,
Engine, which I just was programming in, so it's on my
I
mind.
see.
So
Yeah.
you can see my screen, right?
No, let me click. Now I can.
Hey, I thought that we had Nitro in Discord. Do you remember that as a that Terje bought it for us or something? I don't remember.
Oh, I don't think he bought it for us.
Okay,
I always saw it as an option to
okay,
buy. I
okay.
never did buy it.
No.
Not sure what it is.
Yeah, either am I. I just saw that it allows me to share my screen at 1080 instead of 720. That was the only thing that I noticed.
Ah, oh, that could be worth.
That could be worth something.
Look, it could be a Music Oasis thing. We'll throw some money at it. I mean,
Yeah.
how much can it cost? $10? Was it like 10 a month or something?
I don't know what it is. We have a lot of those kind of things. We probably should, some point. You've already asked us to sit down and maybe we should gather. Even if
Yeah.
people are just buying it, we know what we're spending because
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've been
yeah,
spending a lot, I know, and that's
not
not
a
fair.
lot, but just even a little bit. I mean,
Just enough.
Ori's probably spending more than I am. I mean, with AWS and with
Yeah,
different stuff. She uses it in her job though too. So
yeah. Well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We should do an accounting one of these
yep,
days just to see where we're doing, and if anything, if we have to charge for an event, it gives us a baseline.
yeah, you're right. And we may even after we start doing that kind of stuff, as it gets farther along, at least maybe put a Patron account out there or something to see if we can get people that are interested that want to support
Yeah,
us for
yeah,
just stuff like that.
yeah.
Um,
Sure.
the let me see. Here's my plan on this, just so you know. I was going
Sure.
to set up Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So basically 2 hours before the normally time we have our events,
Yep.
as kind of or doing
Kind of
stuff on
move.
levels. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yep.
So
Yep. That's fine.
yeah, kind of
Hmm.
an extended crew meeting, kind of, but just focusing on the levels and talking about things. I don't.
Certainly. Yeah. Yeah. Certainly would help.
Yeah, and I don't have in a lot of the ways, and it doesn't have to be me showing things because I don't know that much either. So mostly it'll be I see it more as us getting together and figuring out how we're going to do stuff.
Well, I think it's a great way of doing it because, between more than one person,
Yep.
you come up with
Yep.
stuff that you just haven't thought about or encountered. So, that's why it'd be good if I hope Bluebell can join at some point, only
Yeah.
because she's got another perspective, which is always good. So.
Yeah, and I think also Ori can join
Yeah,
sometimes too.
Ori too. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Now the this is my new, and you may have gotten in there. I know I
Yeah, I
did.
have. I was reading the Moose documentation. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So I've started, and I set up the level creator guide
Yep.
that, and this is where I'm gonna, and we all can contribute to this document. I mean, it's just a wiki. You get in and edit, and that's why I asked you to join. Anybody can see this. It's public, so we can use this as our user guide and everything else. People will see this, but only people that are registered on the site, so that the team members can actually get in here and change things.
Hmm.
So, so the so you read through this and saw Ori's thing. So one of the things we talked about doing is setting up. All really, it's not as complicated as I try to make it.
Yeah.
All we're trying to do is have a kind of a consistent
Hmm.
folder structure. And
Right.
if we look under here, this is a game folder structure, and I talk a lot about what the different folders are for. But
Hmm.
when we're talking about maps, it's all under here, and you can see we've got. I mean, right now they only Ori, myself, and then we have a systems map, and the systems
Yeah.
map is
I'm
just
curious though. Just click on Ori maps for me.
uh huh.
I just want to see,
Yeah.
yeah, huh?
And so
Okay, just
she's got this, and so if we look under this, now this is before she did. We added these as test. They were existing projects, that somebody else had built that we got for free, and we're available through the marketplace at one time or another. And that's we'll talk. I'll show that in a second too. But so if you open any one of them,
Yeah.
and this is kind of the structure she was talking about. Remember
Hmm.
in the thing, so you'll see that. And with this, she was a lot. This is evolved, so you'll see some of them that you copied over don't look that way. They look more.
Yeah.
They've got
Well,
they've got
it's
different
my
levels.
understanding that it needs a certain structure so it can be automated, and the transfer.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah,
that what she said?
yeah.
Yeah.
So the thought process is it needs to be. I mean, there's a couple of reasons that I saw that we need to put it in this kind of structure. First is so we don't step on each other's assets,
Hmm.
but the eventually, right now, there's kind of two ways to look at the maps. And kind of the initial map is the initial thing we did was this. We came up with this folder this folder structure because before the maps I had were all over the place. All the
Yeah.
assets were spread out, everything. And then when Ori and I started saying, "Hey, we need to, organize this," we did that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And these, and so up to this point, all we've done for maps is gone ahead and the ones that we've put underneath these maps. So
Got it.
Ori's got a half a dozen, and I've got a half a dozen or so too.
Hmm.
And mine isn't as well.
I have a question for you
Yeah.
right off the top.
Hmm.
I'm just to clarify on blueprints, right? Obviously, that's where all the blueprints go now. But let's say you have object blueprints. How to turn on a light bulb or something.
Yeah.
That still goes in that, or does that go under a separate
It,
uh, file?
it
You know.
I don't think we've got a rule. I think my thought process was, and I've set up or I don't have it set up here, but I have like one called poser props, but basically we would have or I have one called mojo props. Do I have anything
Mm-hmm.
underneath it? Yeah, nothing. I don't have anything underneath it yet, but I thought we could have. There's two kinds of ways I look about blueprints. Blueprints can be attached or kind of embedded in an
Yeah.
object, and
Hmm.
and the way I thought we might handle that is we probably should have a folder here, and we have to decide what to call it for you know props. Let's just call it that for right now. It's objects that have blueprints associated with them. So like a door that's got the door in it.
Yeah.
So did somebody join?
Yeah. Ari.
Hey, Ari. Oh, hello.
By the way,
Hello. Hello.
Ori, you get
Hello.
the award for the best handwriting of any person I've ever seen.
From the video, you saw the video that.
You. That was supposed to be a rough draft. Just no. Well, I'm not used to writing on a screen, so
Yeah, it is
yeah.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it was very very unique handwriting. But I did enjoy the video. It was very well done, I thought, and I understand what you were trying to say, so that's good.
Yeah,
Well, it was the first draft video. Okay.
yeah,
I was
That
kind
was
of one of
good.
those videos you eventually redo, right?
yeah,
Eventually, right? After everybody knows the information already, because the first draft was so good.
yeah. So I was just showing Rag and he's gotten in here into Confluence as well. But I set up a level creator guide, and I thought this is where we would do most of our documentation of things we discover and rules we make. The other thing, Ori, is I talked about. I plan on just having kind of I don't even know what to call it, open mic for level building. This is what this is inside of Discord. From
Ah, okay.
1 to 3 Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So basically, around where our events are, some of our events are happening, but about that same time. And I thought it would be an open thing. I would just always try to start it as an event, and I don't. I see it as completely as a working session. It's not going to be teaching classes or anything like that. It's just us figuring out
Right.
stuff and
Makes sense.
doing work
Yeah.
together. at
Well,
this.
I just kept bored
Yeah,
looking at code. 'Cause
yeah,
I'm
Now we
coding
can
the editor right now, so
we can
yeah.
all share screens, right? I
yeah,
take it. Yeah.
yeah. So we should be able to take either screens and I we'll see how that goes. The first thing we talked about doing is I was just showing the maps here, and like I said, our maps, you know, we the current maps the way they are were developed at different times, and they don't all conform to the way we want the maps to eventually look. So, and but the important part is the initial structure anyway. The important part is, as you saw in the video, and as we talked about here, it's maps, the creator's name, and then underneath that, the folders that represent the actual levels, and then inside of that, it depends on how, this is the one that would probably look like the broadcast studios most likely
Hmm.
most of them would look like, if you're
Yeah.
building it from scratch. So so if
I
I
do have another question right
yeah.
away on the whole structure of the thing. I did notice in one of the hierarchy levels that lighting or like global illumination seemed to be a top level hierarchy event not included in the map. Is that true? In the artist
No,
map,
no, no, no. I think what I said, or I tried to say in the Confluence document, lights to me.
Skydome. That's what it
Oh,
was.
Skydome. Yeah, it should be in the level, but I just have here. I have Skydome. I have
That,
Skydome.
that would often be in the map.
Yep.
Yeah. If not
In the artist map, right?
in the
Right, right.
artist.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
this
the
Okay.
is
artist
Good.
map.
that's a good example. We were talking about before about programmed or scripted or blueprinted objects.
Hmm.
This to me is a blueprinted object. You know what I'm saying? I have it as an independent from a level, so I can drag it into a level with all its functionality. So that's an
Got it.
example. This would be like the door that opened or closed, or the light that
Yep.
turned
Well,
on or off. And so
you got to remember
uh-huh.
what's in the content browser is like your assets
Hmm.
and other things. They're in the project, they're part of the project, but they're not necessarily in a level
Yep,
yet.
Hmm.
yep.
Yep.
You got to look at this like an asset pool.
So
Got it.
I thought what we would do with that is, and we'll have to decide what to do. I mean, when you're creating when you're creating a level, you won't be in this big folder structure. So and we can
Right.
create a level. We just be in a level, and
Right.
you'll just have a folder for, basically you'll get, it depends on how you set it up, but you'll have starter content
Right.
as a minimum, and Ari and I were thinking we would actually set up a level. We had set up a one that you guys could copy over, but
Right.
we
Right.
haven't
Kind of a template
a
level.
template. Yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
built that yet, and I don't know that. What would we put in that? We might put in the
Well, yep, the Sky Dome would be good.
yeah, we would put in not only the beginning structure. What I'm
Hmm.
saying,
Yep.
we would also
I have
put in
just so you
objects.
know, Granddad, I have kept third party, the third person
Hmm.
setup, and I've included startup content just so that the template has something to work with.
Yep.
And I always have an avatar that you can walk around your level with.
Right.
So if you were to build any of your content using the starter content or the third person uh, avatar, that would be available because we would include that. We've already got it in Moose. It's already there.
Hmm.
So I was including those just because any place you see starter content or you
Hmm.
see tutorials or everything, you see them all referring to these startup assets. So it's just made sense to add them. It gives you something to work with, at least initially,
Yep.
Yeah.
so that you can at least put up walls, floors, and start doing something with lights. It has some effects that you can use and just a few things to get you started so you can do some things.
Do you have the template project that you could open? Is it a specific project that you have right now?
I'm trying to open it right now. Hold on.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a mess because I'm editing underneath it,
Hmm.
but let me just see if I can fire it up. Hold on.
Yeah, I said maybe what we should do is just copy, you know, create an official copy of that, so you still have a working copy, and
Oh,
then
that's going to be the idea.
yeah,
That's going to be the idea. You'll start with this template. It's going to also have my editor code in it, with like Helios does. But right now, it's just pretty generic, and I'm just mucking around with editing underneath it.
hmm yeah. Like I was saying, Brad. Again, the thought process is right now we're basically we're still doing things manually, and if you will you'll use a template, put your content into it, and then zip it up, uh, um, and then send it to Ori or me. Probably send it to me, and I will get it so it would work inside of Moose, which isn't a whole lot of work for me, but it's just basically making sure it works and put it and put an entry in the teleport menu to teleport to it.
By the way, thanks for sending me. It was either you, Granddad, or Ori, I think, sent me the Blender to Unreal tutorial. It was very helpful in filling in a lot of little details.
Or wasn't? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's weird. This is going to be one of those kind of things that it's going to get hard to start, but once we start rolling, it was sort of like
Yeah,
coding in here.
sure.
With coding here
Yeah,
to start, it was horrible, and then it was like now I'm real comfortable.
it's a learning curve. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So the
Just when
other,
we got really comfortable with Sansar, kablooey.
yeah,
And
yeah, and you learn as you
Well,
go
that's
on.
that's true of any platform. At first,
Yeah,
yeah, it's overwhelming. Then feels easy. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's why these meetings, I think, are a great idea. Because we could work in real time and say, "Hey, look, here's what I got. What's going on here?
yep.
What's wrong with this?"
The yeah, I'm gonna open this up just as
Ah,
Ori's getting stuff
Trello.
open. Trello. Well, Trello, just so you know, Trello and Confluence, and we also have a Jira site. I'll throw the Jira site up here. Jira site is where we will track, once it gets more mature, track actual issues that,
Uh-huh.
to me, this will be where we interact with users.
Yep.
Just, it's a fix system, of things that we need to fix that are broken
Yeah,
versus,
that's the box that has the hole in the bottom of it, right? Yeah.
yeah, versus or Trello, which is more of our planning tool, project management tool. The Confluence, all of these are Altasian products, so they all work together fairly well, which is good. And it's kind of the standard for I don't know what I call serious game development. There's
Hmm.
those other packages out there, but a lot of people use these. Not game development, software development. Period.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. But back to Trello. Sorry, I get
Hello, Trello.
hello Trello. Yes, and the we were talking about these as the starting points, and I don't know which one we want to start with. I mean, I assume that different people will
Yeah.
kind of do different
I mean,
things.
I look. It's easier, I think, for both Bluebell and I to start on our respective
Yeah.
creation. So,
Yep.
she's Rave Cave, I'm Jazz Club. So it'll just, and we did collaborate, but at least initially in setting up the materials and all that stuff, I think it's easier for us to do it, get us up to a point, and then
Yeah.
you know, see where we collaborate. Because I used her skybox and stuff, and for the blues club and stuff, and so uh, stuff like that. So
Yeah, and I think that's a good one too. I mean, because with because really almost all we ever use are the jazz club and rave cave, and
And
the
the park.
park,
Yeah,
and the park.
people love the park. Yeah, with the fireworks and everything. So that's a great place for additional special
Yeah,
effects
we
and
have
stuff.
the other. So as we look at those, that's a good starting list of things.
Yeah, I mean that alone is like a month of work,
Yeah,
and as I say, I'm still trying to get used to all the subtleties that you can include in the materials section of materializing a mesh. I mean, there's all these different things you can do other than just inputting your textures.
yeah,
So it's like, oh, I'll. y- It's like going into the candy store, so you see, oh, I could do this. You want to just stick to the basics, but at the same time, I do see that some of the basics include stuff that I'm just not familiar with. So, you know, again, back to the learning curve.
yeah, yeah,
Nothing.
and a lot of them were stuff like like things like collision meshes. I remember you were playing with the collision mesh. You can make as part of your object, or you can add it just like you did in
Hmm.
Sansa, or you can add it as part of the when you're building inside of the level. Whichever is easier.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
This is the other thing that I wanted to share, and if Ori will probably she can share as well. This is the wrong person. Hold on. This is the
The ball, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah. Mine
This
takes forever to go through. It's like, oh my god.
yeah. This
I
is
need to
this is
open
the
it once
vault.
I have to.
This is all the vault we have for the existing Music Oasis account on
hmm.
Epic, and it's mostly programming stuff. Or I also have bought the visual effects or got it for free. I don't remember when I was in
Hmm.
here. But let me get over to the other. Oops, sorry. How do I switch users? I don't remember. Okay, right here probably. Sign out. I have no idea. I'm just trying to sign in my own account here, but I don't remember any of my logins, of course.
Yeah, it doesn't. Unreal, you talking about? They don't remember your logins, which is
Yeah, it is weird.
pain.
There it
I
is.
always forget the special character.
I have the moose pack screen up if you want me to just show it real quick. What I
Sure.
have.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me. I'm gonna get in Discord so I can see it. I got too many things open. Whoa. Watch stream. Hey, I
Yeah,
recognize that.
so there. That's basically the structure right there.
Yeah.
So it's really just the blueprints, geometry.
What do you have under geometry? Out of curiosity, is that the? Oh, it's just basic stuff. Yeah. This is yeah, and you got starter content as well.
Well, you'll notice this component.
Hello. Did I lose voice?
Yeah, we lost Ori.
Oop.
That's because I had it on the home key and it was messing with me when I was doing the video. So, so basically, you see under maps, um, basically starter content. Is that showing up okay for you guys?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. You see this pale starter content? That's what the software is going to create. What that essentially does is it gives it a chunk ID, and then there's software underneath that's going to load it. Um, and again, I've got some other code that creates a map. These were actually created using this blueprint right here. It'll actually create that. Just the kind of stuff I'm doing with the editor. Eventually, it's going to be a button up here at the top, but you'll see the basic structure. You got your map, and then again, this has an entry code in it and some way to identify it for chunking. And essentially, it'll include the map. These are map empty right now. I didn't put anything in them because I'm generating them through software.
But that's where we would have
But
the.
right.
Do you think we should put the folders just as? Should we
I
have?
probably I can build I will build out folders too.
Yeah.
I can pretty much I can generate all of the things you see in the content right here through software. So I plan to do that. I mean, initially what it's doing is working on getting this component put in. I'm getting it so that it will build out this structure. So if I want to add a luster club, I'll basically get it going into this format right here. So it just goes in there. And again, starter content is going to be in its own little chunk.
Mm-hmm.
So that's automatically in there. And third person will be in there. And of course, I didn't include any of our default maps because this is template map. This is where we're just doing it.
Yep.
But anything you draw from starter content or from third person should be okay in your personal maps because they're already in Moose itself as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be just fine.
Okay.
But everything's going to be done with these blueprint widgets, which I don't know if this is going to work because that stuff shows up on all kinds of screens. You may or may not see it, but crap. Yeah, kind of messing around, doing experiments along the way.
So
But yeah, but I can do things like make directory, like I'll just make one right here. Call it, whoops, did I do it wrong? Um, XYZ, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that now. Slash game. XYZ file, and gotta go over to here. Oh, I first gotta execute it once. All right, hold on. Go in here, run it once,
so do you?
and you can see basic. You can see basically allows me to control what goes into the editor. What goes into content. Obviously, I'm going to delete that because that's just garbage. But I can basically create folders
Now
and
for
other kind of structures.
yeah. So this will be where we are eventually. You'll be using this
Right,
template.
right. This template is where you will start. This template is where things will happen. And
Now,
again, if you were wanting to show a vault that's loaded with lots of stuff, let me just switch here.
yeah, I can.
Uh, Hold on. I just got to stop streaming that, and then share my screen. This one.
So the yeah.
You can see, obviously, I've been at this for a while. So you can see all the versions of Unreal I have. All of the demo projects I have, which I have many, and there's my vault.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot. And a lot. And a
And
lot.
Now
and
the
even
question
And a
about
lot.
all these is, all these could be added to a project or that you got it here, or I mean, there's three basically things. You can create a project, you
Right,
can
you
add
can
it to a
create a
project.
project. There, you can install things to an engine
Hmm.
if it's like code. You can add it to a project, or some of them will. Well, where's one for creating a project?
Yep.
There were some up here. Or some of them are based on creating a project. Again, anything that creates a project or adds to a project can also be migrated as well.
Right.
So, yeah, it's generally not too big a deal.
So,
But yeah.
so for
Um,
let's go ahead.
so again, I've got a lot of stuff that I've collected over the years when it was free. Some of it's not free anymore.
Mhm.
Some of it was only free for a short period of time. Some of it's part of the permanently free as well.
Yeah, a lot of it though isn't it permanently free. And is
No,
yeah,
no. You,
because if
you
I was
gotta stay on top of it. You do.
so I've got a library of those too. And the only reason I bring this up is, how can we don't want to have to create everything from scratch. Now we have unique stuff, but I mean there's a whole bunch of stuff available here that somehow I would like to put it in kind of a repository, right? That
And
we could
library of some
run.
kind, you're
Yeah,
saying?
library, because we could say to ourselves that, that we have as a group for art, because a lot of this is art assets. Quite honestly, it's art assets plus some plug-in code that we can use that I may not even know that we could have available to that Ori managed to get for free. I've got a bunch too, not nearly this many, but the the question is, how do we best do that? I mean, one of the ways we could do it is if we create a project out of this, right? Right now, only Ori can see this with her login. If we
Right,
if we
right.
we create a project, we could zip that file out and you know
Then you would
into a
be able to see
repository.
it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah, inside the project itself.
yeah, yeah.
And again, any assets within there can be migrated
Yep,
out to a template or another project.
yep.
Or or we could zip it up out there and you could migrate it into the template.
So this is almost like our team
That's
store.
essentially what I did
Yeah.
with Moose. I created the projects for some sample demo places. I migrated it in and made some adjustments so Moose could use them.
Yep. So I just want to make that available to people that are I don't know. How do you feel about that, Rag? I mean, you and a Blue Belt mostly made your own assets, right? Some of them.
Yeah, but still, I mean, if let's say there's, I'm looking at water planes, so
Yep.
grab that.
Yep.
That would be something I'd want to grab to see what my options are and see
Yep.
how I could tweak
Yep.
that. You wouldn't want to reinvent the wheel, as you say.
Right.
Well, even just to see how things are done,
Yeah,
Yep.
you may decide you want to do it different, but it would give you a starting place. That's
Yep. Yep.
really what this is all about.
hmm
They're trying to show what their engine can do. They're showing what other people have done. You could start with someone else's stuff that you bought or got for free, and then change it, edit it, tweak
yep,
it
hmm
to do what you want. The idea is you're not recreating the wheel.
yep,
It's kind of the idea.
yep.
You've got a starting place.
Yep. So how do we want to? I mean, I'd be willing to go ahead and create those projects of the ones that I have, which, like I said, you'll have way more. But I could do mine first, and so you don't have to do the ones that I've already done. That we both
Yeah,
have in it,
yeah.
and then somehow set up a kind of a probably on Confluence an index to where they are, and then store them out on either store them out. Yeah, probably either store them out on a shared area. I don't know how in zip files for people to download, or at least make people aware of them that
Well, we'd have
even
to use it through zip files because we couldn't use Epic's loader because some of these were only free for a particular period of time. The content that's in the permanently free collection,
Mhm.
they can get anytime by themselves.
Yeah,
We wouldn't need
Yeah,
um, to also make them available because you could just do that straight out of the Epic Games loader.
right, right. But yeah, I agree. I mean, all I'm trying to find it also do is use our corporate knowledge, and say, here's all the assets we found as a group. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody could just add to
Right,
that
right.
wiki. so we would know that here's where water
Yeah,
planes are,
you
here
see, the
where
big
fire
western
effects
town,
are,
the
or
big
whatever.
western town was right here.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a whole project, and that came in as a separate UE project.
Hmm.
But I obviously exported out the assets of the western town so that it became a level within Moose. That's
Right.
kind of what I did.
Right. And
Yeah.
we'll do is I'll start something on Confluence and put some of mine in there as a starting point for us to have a wiki to just change and add things to. And I just don't know for sure. Like we could go ahead and say create project, right, and then take that project and turn it into a zip file, and then save that zip file out on Google Drive. But eventually, I don't know how big those will be. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are pretty good size
Yeah.
projects with all the art assets. And so, as a minimum, at least have a cross reference saying, Ari has got these projects, and here's what these projects are, and I'm saying what they have in them, and then you could contact Ari to get for her to, on demand, not on demand, but be able to zip it up and send it. I don't,
Right.
yeah,
Right. I don't know. We'll figure
we'll
something
figure
out.
something
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Like I like the idea of weather system. Like Skydome was the same thing for me. I found that
Hmm.
somewhere
Yeah.
with the weather system, and then
Really useful. Yeah.
yeah, so it changes time of day and stuff like that. That's pretty, and then just integrated it into the project, and
Yeah.
that's what we should try to do as much as possible. So
Yeah.
Ari, as we go, you certainly have the, you're working like I kind of explained before, was there's kind of our interim approach, and our interim approach will be we'll have a template that doesn't have all the automation in it, so it really just has to have the folder structure for what.
Right. It'll be the folder structure. It will include the third person
Right,
thing so that you can walk around your level.
right,
But you won't be walking around with the Moose menu.
yep,
You won't be walking around with the Moose avatars. You'll just be walking around with the
right.
default UE4 avatar.
Which is
But the
sized
idea
the
is,
same, yeah,
yeah, which is size the same. The idea is by using the default third person um, game template as just as kind of your avatar, you can kind of test your level and walk around your level and make sure that your level makes sense.
do
And
you
get an idea what it looks like when you're actually running the level.
do you want to create the template stripped out of all your code, or you just want me to go ahead and do it and put it out there for people to grab?
I can actually just temporarily strip out
Yeah,
my editor code
yeah,
and zip that out there for you, because
yep,
the editor code would confuse you. It's in bits and pieces all over the place,
yep,
and so I'll just duplicate the project and then go back to what it was before I started,
yep.
with where it was just a starter kit, where it was just um, the third person, and I'll probably like leave the startup of my menu structure, but you would replace that with maps, rag, etc., maps, granddad,
Yeah,
etc.
you just rename
Yeah,
the top folder.
yeah, yeah, right. And I could do that. That way, nobody
Yep,
has to recreate anything.
yep,
Just start with it. And then what'll happen is that I'll replace that with one with the modified editor code that does the automated stuff, puts those primary asset labels in the right place, sets up chunking and all that kind of stuff.
yep,
Eventually, writes out to your Steam workshop, all that stuff, like Helios does.
yep.
Yeah.
So go ahead and do that, and we'll go ahead and put a link into it from Confluence, and that's where you would, obviously start. I mean, you could always, Rag, you could do some of that yourself, but I mean, the fact is, we got at least. I think the important part is just to have the third person blueprint in there, so you can walk your character around it.
Yeah.
Basically, in build, basically you'll say build the level, and you'll play from that level, and I'll put some. If you haven't done that yet, I'll go ahead and put a little video together how to do it. It's real straightforward, and then you can walk around, because one of the things we found with Ari and I is you have to do that just because of the physics. We couldn't get through doors and
Yeah.
couldn't go upstairs. Things like that, obviously.
Hmm.
that sounds good. I like that idea. And then also maybe have I may set up a demo project. The other thing we could do is have a we have this template. It's just the basic template. I may set up a content template. How does this sound? Like of useful stuff as we find it. So basically, like something like water planes, that would have basically would have the folder structure would be just assets like water planes or fire effects or so basically it'd be like inventory inside of Sansar. It would be you could go
That's
to that project and then find something that looks like something you want to use and then
yep.
just migrate it over into your project without having to go
You-
through a whole bunch of extra. And so that would be kind of our corporate, here's where we put our stuff we think we'll reuse quite a bit. So
Yeah, I think that's very useful.
I think that's good. And then you'll just be able to download that, get the most current copy of it, but you'd have a copy on your PC as well. I mean,
And would that be stored now? Are you talking within the template, or is this in the
be a separate.
like in Google something, or
Oh,
there's whatever?
I would probably put it out in Google so you get the latest copy.
Yeah.
But it would look like, I don't know if I've got a good example of that, but it would have a bunch of assets in it. So you know what I'm saying? It would be now I have a level here called store. You know what I'm saying? And it's got stuff in it, but I mean it's where's example? Yeah, it just would be the assets. You know what I'm saying? It would just be it'd just be different assets we found that are kind of
Yeah.
so all it'd be like going to a store. It would be actually going, I'm saying
Yep.
it'd have nothing besides just bunches of assets inside of folders kind of oriented towards things. So as it's just another resource. So if you say, I need to see if I got a chair, you could click here and there'd be a bunch
Yeah.
of chairs. You can see there that we're using, especially the ones that we're, it's like I say, it's much like the inventory inside of our shared account on Sansar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
And
you
this
could,
is searchable too, so it's
yep.
very useful. Yep.
Yeah, so you can see I have a fire bowl, fire in it, that kind of thing, and while it's in another person's template, I'm saying, or in their level that they're building, we also stick it out in this other level to make it as a place you can basically you can go in and shop. That's what it amounts to.
Right, right.
And I'll throw another thing out here. Doing that, I've got, and I haven't implemented it in this version of. I have a vendor set of blueprints that I built available, so we could probably automate that somewhat. And basically, this could maybe turn into our online store as well as we're trying to sell assets and things, or
Uh-huh.
at least give assets away to people that are building levels. I don't even not even building levels. I'll throw this out here. I have another feature that I haven't implemented yet, and we're collectively kind of calling it backpack, but it's really not backpack. It's the
Yeah.
fact that you can place assets inside of a level dynamically in the game, not just not
Not
just
the edit mode. Yeah.
yeah, not in edit mode. So a person could,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we could and the thought process there is
Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
yeah. Yeah, they'd be able to do that, and then what we would do is just much like right now. One of the features I do have is you can customize your avatar and save your avatar. So
Yeah.
even though it's coming from our base avatars, you've got a customized avatar. I was thinking of doing the same sort of thing with the let's say a club, something a scene. You could get the scene, and you could move some stuff around inside of the scene, and you would have your own scene to be able to save. So, and what it is it's not a new level. You know what I'm saying? It's the same level, all it does is have a scripting inside of it that says when they launch this level that they basically copying from an existing level, add all these dynamically add all these other things or move the
Hmm.
furniture around. It's just like in my avatar. The difference between the avatar they saved is morph settings that made the avatar look different. So it just applies some morph setting. In this case, it would just apply the new position and the new objects in the scene. So anyway,
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
I think that's a powerful thing down the road. To for people that
Oh, sure.
don't want to get into the editor, but but um, want to set up stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
We're starting to look more like Second Life every day here. It's
yeah.
great.
I don't know. I
No, I mean,
as Ori warns me many times. There's no way we can be. No, I don't want to get people's hopes up because there's a
yeah.
point where
Well,
we'll be overwhelmed.
also you get file size overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, but still, it's nice to have options where things are persistent across
Right, right. It
things.
does give us lots of options to do some things that we may want to do from other
Yeah,
virtual worlds. Doesn't
exactly.
mean we can't. It's just we don't want to do it all. Many of them do it all, but we could say, would it be nice if we could do this specific thing? Yeah,
Yeah, and that
we
was
can
like
pick and
my next
choose.
one of my things that it's not ready for discussion yet, only because it's just being created now in Second Life. But we're developing an art exhibit that'll be an interactive art exhibit. So um, this is something if I can, if we could work it out and get it well, it should be very cool and unique. And this would be something I'd want to make into a moose project. So um, what was my point? My point was that I'd want to be able to have a wide variety of options, available. God knows what, because I'd need a HUD and I'd need this and I'd need
yeah.
that type of thing. Yeah.
That's what's nice
Right,
about
right.
yeah.
There may be some components there that
That's
we'd
what's
want
nice
to.
about the thing that I find really um, that I enjoy about Unreal compared to Sansar is the menuing system. The
Hmm.
menu system makes all the difference in the world. I mean, it's how you have to create your game,
Yeah.
but my plan is to even leverage that some more. Right now, I've got two menuing systems. I got the one when you log in. Actually, I got three, but the one that you log in, and that's really running C++, and that's just to get established into the game. And
Hmm.
then once you get in the game, you got the user menu. It's got all the things to select stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, um, and then I've got a third one I just added today was I broke out message box, Ori, so I didn't
Ah.
I didn't keep everything in the same. She
All
has
right.
commented on I have a pretty monolithic, huge menuing system versus I could have made them all separate. So the message box I went there because I put in a message today that says, hey, if you don't detect Steam, throw up the message box and say you forgot to start Steam, and when they close the message box, it logs them out for them to go ahead and start Steam before they go ahead and launch the game. Because many times I've done that and I said, how come it doesn't seem to work? And it's because that wasn't hooked up to
Yeah,
Steam.
we've all done that. Like, whoops,
Yep,
Steam's not on. Whoops,
yep,
no Steam, no moose.
yep.
Yeah, you gotta have Steam running.
Yeah, the only way I know it does it right now is because it puts you in Andy as your character, and it's like, what happened to my old character? But I've gone ahead and it's kind of a mess. But so that's kind of where the menuing system. So I'll have for all our music stuff, it's going to be great. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to have two things. We'll have things in the game to interact with, like I did. With
Hmm.
you have to make that decision. Should it be a HUD or should it be a screen you interact with in the game?
Hmm.
And one of the neat things is it seems to be a feature inside of Unreal to use the menuing system and place it on an object. So that's kind of the best of both worlds. Basically, you could build a control panel and it would be
Hmm.
displaying your menu, your HUD
Wow.
menu on the actual plane, on the actual thing.
Hmm.
So it's like interacting with an iPad or something inside of the
And that'd
game.
be a lot easier for one to build, let's
Oh
say,
yeah,
than it did for Sansar. We had to coordinate everything out.
yeah, oh yeah, it's much easier.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's.
Well, in reality, in Unreal, you're looking at a plane anyway. It's just in front of your camera.
Yeah.
That's the menu.
Yep.
It's the transparent
Yep.
plane
Yep.
that sits in front of your camera.
Yep.
That's how Unreal does menus. That's how it does 2D as well. Just this thing in front of you. It's
Yeah.
really 3D, really, but it just looks 2D.
Hmm.
Let's see. What else do we have? So we need to get that template out there for you to start. You've done some things. What have you found, Rag, with when you were starting to do the Unreal stuff? Have you tried to build a level all the way
Yeah,
up?
well,
Okay.
I did I uploaded an animation that I could not get to work for the life of me in Sansar, and it worked right out of the box in Unreal. It was just fantastic. Although I did have a something weird happen, I can't figure it out, but still, it was I've been playing around with it and uh, trying to absorb more of the blueprint related to materials and that whole protocol, and how to what I want to try to do is more experimentation with uploading textures along with the object, as opposed to just texturing it in Unreal, just to see where that gets us. But it's just as easy to set it up in Unreal, really. So,
Did
uh,
you
I, I-
when you textured inside of, let's say, the your club, all those textures were included in the models, right?
yes and no.
Okay.
Some were, some weren't.
Okay.
Uh, some textures just didn't work out, so you would instead of I would adjust them and I would
Yeah.
upload them directly into Sansar. I wouldn't necessarily change the file in Blender to my fault. I mean, I should do it that way because then next time I upload the model, it would be there as opposed to saying, "Oh my God, what did I do here? I don't even remember," you know? So, but yeah, yeah, I mean, it's 50, it's not, it's a lot of 50-50, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like the same thing with Bluebell. It seems like she did a lot of the texturing inside of Sansar itself. The the only experience I've got with that, I mean, all mine were in the. What would happen with me is all mine would load as part of the model. So if I look at, well, let me look at a model. But I mean, where is this? Here. No. See, I don't even remember what I called it. Oh, Dousman House. So if I mean most of these
Hmm.
are in the were textured inside of the game or inside of the
Hmm.
3ds Max in my case.
Right, but it actually created separate texture assets for them, I assume,
Um,
on import. Most of the time it does that.
yeah. Let me
And
see what.
FBX import will pull out
Yeah.
texture maps and things
Yep.
like that out of the FBX file itself.
Let me look at the. See if I can find my way down there. Comments. Comments. Dousman House. Yeah. So
Yep.
See, it
Yep.
pulled everything out as separate assets,
yes,
right?
textures. Yeah.
Sub assets and component assets. Yeah.
Yep. And
And
but you.
you can generally count on the FBX import, the export to do that for you.
Mhm.
The thing is, you may not get names of assets that are ideal. So that's just something to think about going forward with
What do
your
you
asset.
mean?
Well, it's going to choose some kind of naming scheme based on the asset itself. So
Oh,
yeah, so
yeah. If you
because
and
you're
if you don't
auto
name
naming,
it within the
right?
program, if the 3D
Right.
program,
It's
yeah.
that naming scheme could sometimes end up inconsistent. So
Hmm.
just something to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah. I
And
like the system that Unreal uses of materials, M
yeah,
underscore blah blah blah,
yeah, and this,
and texture underscore T underscore blah blah blah.
and so these are, these were just textures. You know what I'm saying? Or is this a material? This is a
That's a
material.
material.
Yeah, so it loads them as materials.
It actually does some work for you there. It'll take the texture and set them up as material
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it's more efficient for the engine to use material instances than materials directly.
yep.
Yep.
Because that could really come back to haunt you in big ways if you're using materials directly. You're not
Yeah.
using an instance.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of like whether changing one thing changes everything
Mm-hmm.
or it changes just a particular instance of a thing. More than once, someone's edited a material directly,
Hmm.
and it changed the material on everything else that uses that material in the entire scene.
Yeah.
Kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I look at the, uh, I thought it would be here. Yeah, I mean the. Let's see what it would be. The map. So I mean, if you just look at the only place I've done a lot of work
Initial.
with that is the fact that I do. You have to change your structures. Your I will often go in there and set the materials up. On all the avatars, I had to change,
Mm-hmm.
what the avatars look like, because
Mm-hmm.
it just didn't translate well to Unreal. So
Mm-hmm.
and you've probably done some of that as well. You know what I'm saying? You just have to get in
Yeah,
there and say,
depending on what
shit,
the file is,
that
et
doesn't look
cetera, et
good.
cetera.
It needs a bump map, or it doesn't need a bump
Yeah,
map, or
exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
Even if your normal is set up correctly,
yeah,
direct
yeah.
or what's the other one? Direct X and whatever the is.
Yeah, I mean, I deal with basically all I use is bump maps and normal maps. Basically set roughness, shininess,
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's
You don't even need a metallic Mac if it's not in metallic. It's interesting. Yeah, I always thought you needed one, but you don't. So
yep.
save yourself even more file size,
So I
right?
get so the skin settings, I'll go through there and do a lot of that. You know what I'm saying make sure the maps are right. A lot of times, sometimes out of poser, they just don't do it correctly. But you guys will know more about this kind of stuff than I do. Already probably do in terms of using it inside of
One thing we do
concert
do
or
to stay consistent is use the metallic roughness um, protocol as opposed to metallic specular.
oh, you do?
So,
Okay.
so just so you know, I never use specular maps. I always pump them out as um, roughness and
Bump.
base color and
Yep.
normal and metallic. So it's basically a roughness protocol as opposed to a specular.
Yeah, that'd be good to things like that would be good to document, for other
Hmm.
people to do because I had no consistency, especially in my models of how I do
Hmm.
that. Well, I don't need this, but so
Yeah, that's the type of thing this shared environment that we're doing right now will be extremely useful in because as one person learns something, it'll be easier to translate to the rest of the crew. At least make the rest of the crew aware of what's going on and maybe even, discover a mistake or something or whatever.
um, so what will it's always going to go ahead and save out the template,
Hmm.
and so it'll have embedded in at least with you for the third person to be able to walk around, and you can get a copy of that, which would
Yeah.
be good.
So do you recommend then that I just start with that template, the starter template,
Yeah,
and then just start building the club or something?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I would think so. And the question is, do we have the only other things is we could talk about later. I would say you should try just doing that. But then
Mm-hmm.
the question is, do we want to eventually add to the template oh, different types of landscape? We'll have to have some question, some things about because when you start a template, does it have the starter content in it right now? I don't remember. Or
Right now, right
yeah.
now, it has a
So does
starter
it?
content in
So
third
it's
person.
so the default map is the
Right, I did
table.
that on purpose so that someone who's not a Blender person or whatever, they have at least something to
Yeah.
practice building with. They can actually make a room. They can put some chairs in there and tables
Well,
and
right
and
now it launches
or-
third.
and all the different. There's several different textures. There's some fire and lightning effects. And basically, you can do some really simple stuff just using what's in the template.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll find a lot of tutorials that were based on the starter content. So someone could look at that tutorial and build their first moose scene by using that tutorial as a guide.
Yeah, I think
So that's why I did that.
Mm-hmm.
the only thing we might do with the template right now, I mean, the template you showed launches into third person as a default
Right,
map, right? And
right.
maybe we
When you
po-
hit play,
yeah,
you're going to get the third person character that's going to go to the player start marker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
yeah, and we probably want to have a default. One of the things is our default level. The first time you get into it, what do we want to have in it? We don't want to have all the puzzle platform or the
I would go with a minimal default. That's just basically that little square platform
yep,
with the chair and the table.
yeah.
That's going to be the default.
Or do we even delete the chair and table because we won't ever use it?
Won't ever
I
use it.
we might. Someone might. It's in the template. Why
Yeah,
not?
it's
You
like
know,
my
that's,
starting my
I
starting
mean, how
thing was
hard is it to delete a table and chair? Hey, that's good practice.
yeah.
Good practice.
Good
Yeah.
practice. Yeah. How do I do that again?
Well, I've got the same in Poser. I had to go delete the stuff that they put in there, and I finally just after doing it a few times, I said, "The heck with this," and and created my own starting template. But uh, yeah, that's fine. That'll be good. But it's not the one that's got the stairs and stuff. You just want to
No,
be able to jump on.
that's the map there's a map that comes with a third person
Yep,
component, and then there's a map that comes with a starter.
yep,
There's a minimal default, which is basically a little platform with a table and chairs,
yep,
and then there's a starter map that's kind of like a show me all the assets layer. What do they look like?
yep.
And show me all the effects.
Yeah, there's the
Kind
minimal
of like
default.
kind of like a gallery of
Yeah.
what's in the starter
There's
kit.
this one, which is the
Yeah.
Yeah,
minimal
that's the
default.
minimal default. And if
And
you
so,
click on the starter map, you'll see the one that has
Yep.
all the
There you
stuff
go.
that's available to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
yeah.
And
And those
Ari,
that's in the template already.
Mhm.
That's already in the template already.
we need an Ari cube, obviously as starter content
Oh
somewhere, don't
yeah.
we?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. My 25 million triangle cube.
Yes, exactly. Nobody has anything like it.
So I'm gonna.
Nowhere. Nowhere. And of course, I'm hoping you're running a Cray computer to load it. You know,
Yeah, don't
it's
we all?
called by quality of your computer test. Can you load my cube? Let's
Oh,
see.
you think it's just a cube, do you? That's funny.
I'm gonna create a UE project that will have the common assets that you can download that I was talking about before. So just a place that acts sort of like down the road as our store, just a basic inventory, one that you can have download and then migrate assets over. So I will
Yep.
put that up as that's one of the things we just talked about. I should probably change Music Oasis to my name, to Granddad. I need to do this. Uh, and you're going to go ahead and start. I put your little
Yeah,
avatar
I'm
next
gonna
to Jazz Club.
start that process going.
And then there's the stripped down template from that Ori was going to do.
Yeah, that's just going to be my current template. I'm just going to make sure I pulled out all of the mini code snippets that I'm developing because I don't want you to accidentally run into one of them and
Hey,
suddenly
Bluebell.
the template's doing something strange.
Hey,
It'll just be an
I
empty
just realized
template
it's
with the
the
basic
most
stuff.
awkward time for me. Nah, getting
Hello,
kids to
Bluebell.
bed and eating.
Hey,
Yeah,
Bluebell.
it's the most
hey,
You,
awkward time.
just so you
Didn't
know,
realize.
Bluebell, at the beginning of we started talking. I've been recording this, so I'll stick out the uh,
That's that. Okay,
yeah,
that's really
uh,
good. Yeah,
out in YouTube. So if you want to catch up, but a lot of
yeah.
talking. I mean, the we we're right now what we've come to the conclusion of, just real quick, is um, Ari showed the template, and she showed what the in-work template that she's developing for the actual automation of this thing down the road. But she's going to strip out just basically the folders and a very minimal set, and save that project, and we'll stick it out into our
It'll be kind of clean. Yeah, good.
Google Drive to download, and as a starting point. Rag is going to ahead and starting the Jazz Club. Going to start the Jazz Club on using that template, and we'll see what what kind of issues we run into, if any.
if any, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
I'm,
there'll be
I'm doing
challenges.
some.
Yeah, I'll say challenges are different than issues, right?
Yeah,
the
curves.
Yes.
And basically, it has the ability. What it'll have in it, the basic template. It'll have the folder structure. Um, and you saw, I think, have you been out to the Confluence area, Bluebell?
No, and I had.
Yeah, there's a new in the Confluence area. I set up a number of,
Oh yes. I think yes. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
there. Yeah,
and as part of that,
signed in.
I started to set up a level creator guide that we can all add to and change, and that kind of talks
Yeah,
about all the
yeah.
stuff we're doing.
I
And it
I'm
also
definitely doing.
has a video that Ori made about the Moose folders and why we're doing it that way. So with all that out there, that'll be the starting of things. But when you bring in the starter content, or when you start setting up if you copy over the template, and you'll start building, it'll also have the ability to uh, you can go up here, and basically you can start the game to test it, or just to test your level. So you'll be able to say play the level, and it'll bring in the Unreal
Yeah,
Engine
that, I
desktop.
understand that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
and you can walk
do
around
that.
with it at least, so you can
Yeah,
get a better feel of what it'll look like in the game.
yeah, that I can do that. I just realized this is the most awkward time for me because it's like the time I have to
Um,
check my boy
Bluebell,
and
just so we're on the same track, we started an hour ago.
um
Just if this,
it translates for me as 8 p.m. Okay, sorry.
so I think it's 7 p.m.
All right.
If 8 p.m. is if 8 p.m. is awkward, I mean, we do have an hour before, so
7 and 8 are awkward for me, and I've got this kid here that needs attention at that time. You probably know if
Mm-hmm.
you have kids like
yeah.
7, 8 days. Really hard time, but we'll figure this out. Either I try and figure out how I am gonna watch this, and then learn on my own Unreal Unity No.
Would
Yeah.
would earlier be better? Like
Yeah, definitely would be. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Granddad, that's up to
Between
you.
7 and 9 is for me very hard.
Okay.
But I'm watching. Sorry.
Well,
It's really hard though, and I'm not gonna push aside my life.
well, if we could figure out a time that's mutually beneficial for everybody, that's
Yeah,
great.
that will help.
So we'll try to
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, and I see this, and I kind of talked about it earlier. The I see these as just working sessions. I kind of really see versus a
A
meeting
meeting.
that we all have to
Yeah.
be in. I kind of said, I'm
Yeah.
just going to go ahead. I'm going to work on levels and stuff around levels, and I'm just going to basically I had just chosen arbitrarily to start them at 1 Eastern time, and
No, it's fine.
yeah,
Yeah, it's fine. I just didn't realize.
but they can be any
You're
time for
really
me.
awkward.
I'm off. I'm available. I'm like, look, Rag and I have
Ah.
wide open availability. So
And here's a question in Discord. So let's say, at a random time in the morning, I'm working on UE, and can I just stream that from a specific channel in
yeah,
Music Metaverse, and
yep,
everybody has access to that?
yeah, crew
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I
do
guess
that.
you should say
Yep.
like hit us up.
Yeah, that
We
could be
know that you
interesting.
can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that's what I saw this more as, initially getting on the same page, but I would say pretty quickly, I'm going to be done talking about stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't have
Yeah.
much to add, and it's going to be just, I kind of envisioned if I was working on a level and there was nobody already sharing, I would just share and then people could join in and then I could bug people and say, hey, join the stream and show me how to do
Yeah,
this.
that will work for
Exactly.
me. Yeah,
Yep. Cool.
yeah, like from 7
Well,
my
like I said, if
time.
you're willing to share while you're building,
Mhm.
other people can pop in and say, "Hey, oh, that looks cool," and
Hey,
Yep.
yeah,
everything you know is wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think
No, that will work for me
yeah,
because like at 7 I eat with the kid, and
Mm-hmm.
then from 8 to 9 I will definitely have to like
Mm-hmm.
get him in bed. Um, but yeah, hit us up randomly. That will probably mean studying myself, which is okay. If you have any tutorials, send them my way. Because I'm, probably not going to make all of them.
uh, yeah. Like I said, I need to. I know for me, I don't know how much actual building I'm going to do, only because you know, uh, I would rather spend my time. No, it's not rather spend my time. I'd probably rather spend my time building. But I feel like I need to go do some programming, get some the programming
Yeah,
parts
yeah,
of it
yeah.
down. Um, the 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 things we've talked about in terms of which do you think you're gonna uh, start on? Do you think you'll start on the park or the which would be more or the rave
Maybe
cave?
Brave Cave,
Okay,
definitely Brave
okay,
Cave. Yeah, there will be something to work
yeah,
from.
and you can join um, Trello if you want, and then you'll get scheduled
I
onto it.
think I'm already, not already. I should be in there. A
Yeah,
different fellow.
yeah. Let me. Um,
I'm sure you're in there.
uh,
Yeah, I was used to be, but I don't show
You may
that.
not be logged in right now, but I'm sure you're in there. So.
I think
Definitely.
yeah. If not,
There you go.
here.
Just send another. There you go.
He was definitely
just
in
send
there.
another invite,
Three.
and if it's already there, won't be a big deal. Nah,
Yeah. On that note, I'm afraid today I have to go right
Yeah.
now. So
Well,
normally I'd have
Yeah, me
another
too,
hour.
because I have to tuck
yeah.
in
And I think the next time we do, I'm going to do it on Wednesday. I was going to do
my
this on Monday,
script.
Wednesday, and Fridays.
Yeah.
And uh, I think we should just, maybe by Wednesday, or it'll have can have the template out there, and we can just actually start
Yeah,
trying to use
yeah.
it.
I'll do that
That's
sometime
great.
this afternoon or evening,
Yeah,
And I'll
and it should be available to tomorrow.
cool.
I'll get the
Yeah.
model set up in Blender and examine that
Yeah.
again because it's been a year now or at least, so I have to get used to the
I'm
model
also
again.
getting lost because they know which email I use in there.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Like,
Well,
it's
very good
difficult
again,
task.
Ari and Granddad. Thank you so much for all this incredible work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's going to be at least like Sansar was. One of the things that I find sad is where I hear people talking Sansar about saying, "Oh, there's no new building going on because people are leery." I'm saying, of
Yeah.
building in there because they don't. It just seemed like they,
Yeah.
all that work and it just went away. So
Yeah.
and that's one of the things. As soon as we kind of, as a core group, get be feeling comfortable with this, I would love to open it up to, with what we've learned, to a lot of the builders that have been
Definitely.
inside of
Definitely. Will.
Sansar, so they know that they can start trying this, or at least they know they have that as a exit ramp.
Yep.
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 Alrighty, yeah, that's
All right.
I look
Very
in
good.
I had to.
that.
Okay, I'll
Good
talk to
talking to
Alright.
everybody
talk
today.
Yeah, bye bye.
Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.